All right, we are live on YouTube, and tonight we're going to be discussing accepting reality will significantly change your life. So stick around and find out exactly what I'm talking about. All of that and much, much more is coming right. Welcome to Navigating the Modern World with Coach Eli. And if this is your first time here, and most importantly, you are open to suggestions and change, please consider subscribing and then banging that bell. And after you bang that bell, when that pop-up box pops up, make sure you select all notifications, because that way you won't miss a single thing. You will not miss anything when it comes to getting a better grip on your life. That's right. You will not miss a single thing when it comes to getting a better grip on your life. Because in the past, like I've said, most of you already have somewhat of a grip on your lives. And you just need a little help, maybe a little more hand-holding to help you through the last leg, the last step of the way before you reach tremendous success. And that's what I'm here to do, to share my tips and tricks on, how I failed in the past and how I turned those failures around and created success from learning, from my failures. That's that. Yeah. All right. Now, before we get right to it here, as always, I want to pay a special props to this channel sponsor, my good friend Troy Brewer, who is the CEO, founder, and owner of the Discover Community Network. For all of your product and service needs from the most trusted professionals in the industry, please consider visiting www.discovercommunitynetwork.com. One more time, that's www.discovercommunitynetwork.com. You can also visit a subsidiary of the Discover Community Network known as the DCN Internet Radio Network. And when you go to that website, you're going to find a bunch of amazing internet radio stations. There are music stations and there are talk stations. And one of those music stations is more than likely to suit. I keep saying shoot. Troy's going to kill me one of these days. To suit your genre needs, your musical genre needs. And if you like talk, one of the talk stations is more than likely to suit your talk needs. So please consider checking out www.dcninternetradionetwork.com. One more time, that's www.dcninternetradionetwork.com. Both of those links are below in the description, about a third of the way down. And if you go to those websites, you can also find out how to reach out to Troy. If you decide to send Troy an email and connect with him, please make him aware that Coach Eli sent you with lots and lots of love, because we have lots of love over here, like I've always said, on the Grip on Life channel. All right. Let me make sure the notification went out. The notification has gone out. And let's just check out the back end and make sure the stream is running smoothly. Give me just a second here. Give me a second. All right. And it looks like the stream health is looking pretty good. Okay. And Muttnuts World is the only one in here right now. Just to remind you folks one more time, in case you haven't been on my channel in quite some time, for the last several weeks, I have converted all of my live streams to members-only chat. What does that mean? All of my streams are still publicly available for anyone to publicly view. But if you would like to chat in my chat, there are one of three ways that you can do it. One, you can get to know, like, and trust me, collaborate with me, and if you earn a moderator rent share on this channel, you will have completely free access, just like Muttnuts World has and all my moderators have. A membership is not required for moderators to chat in a members-only chat. Number two, you can become a channel member for as little as $4.99 per month. I do have 5 channel membership packages on this channel, ranging from $4.99 all the way up to $99.99, which is a super fan, sponsor. All 5 packages will get you the exact same thing. It's just up to you how much you would like to donate or sponsor the channel each month. But for as little as $4.99 per month, you'll be able to chat unlimited within my live stream chats. You will also get access to 21 members-only videos that I've already created. And in the future, I'll be creating more of those videos. And you will also get access to special members-only live streams that will probably start happening in the beginning of 2021. And additional unwritten perks for my channel members at my discretion will also be given from time to time. So, if you want to become a channel member, do that. Go ahead and click the join button, or just go below at the top of the description and click that link. That'll take you to that join section and become a channel member today for all the additional perks this channel has to offer. Now, if you do decide to become a channel member and you chat in my chat, you are still going to be held responsible to the same rules that have always applied. So if you purchase a channel membership thinking that you're going to bypass, my rules here where I want a positive environment, if you're a negative Nelly or negative Nancy, you will be banned. You'll still have your channel membership. You just won't be able to chat anymore. And then you can go ahead and request a refund after that. But, the refund's not going to apply until the first month ends. You will just not be renewed by Google and YouTube the next month. Just making you folks aware in case anyone out there is, thinking of, pulling some shady stuff. I'm a step ahead of the game just to make you folks aware. I want to keep it a positive environment here on the A Grip on Life channel. So that's that. The third way that you can chat in my chat, if you're not a moderator or you do not have a channel membership, you haven't purchased a channel membership, is by going down to the bottom of the chat and clicking that beautiful $sign, which is known as the super chat. You can send as many super chats as you want for as little as $1 a piece. But if you send more than 5 $1 super chats, why not just become a channel member for $4.99 per month and then chat unlimited? But the choice is up to you. But just so you folks know, for non-members, you can still super chat messages to go through. Again, all messages through the super chat system are also subject to my rules. And if you use the super chat system to try to get through a hateful message, you will be banned immediately, and I'd still be happy to take your money. So that's just the way it goes, right? That's the way it goes, right? That's just the way it's going to be. Yeah. All right. So it looks like Mutt is busy doing something else, and the rest of the moderators are not here right now, and the other channel members that I have are not here. So I'm just going to get right to it, and if anybody comes in, I will engage with you as the show goes on. Now, tonight, we're going to be discussing accepting reality will significantly change your life. One more time. Accepting reality will significantly change your life. So the way the show is going to go tonight, it's not going to be the longest show. I keep saying that every night, and then I go over it by a little bit. That's because, I've had some people show up in the chat, and the more questions that are asked, the longer the show goes. But if there's not a lot of engagement tonight, I don't see this show going any longer than about an hour or so. But, Muttnut's World is there. There she is, just eating some Cool Whip and listening. Cool. I like Cool Whip Light, so that way it has like half the calories. But I love Cool Whip, Mutt. It is very addicting, isn't it? Huh? Oh, yeah. Anyway, so here's how tonight's show is going to go. I'm going to share a couple of, personal situations regarding the topic, and then I'm going to go over a blog. I'm going to dissect a blog from my favorite blog site, Psychology Today, and the article is called Accepting a Reality That Feels Unacceptable. One more time, accepting a reality that feels unacceptable. And Muttnut's World says, yep, it is. Yeah, Cool Whip is very addicting. I love whipped cream. But, before I go on a long, 8+ mile hike, I'll typically go to Safeway and stock up on some essentials. And one of the essentials I get is a small can of extra thick whipped cream. And whipped cream does not have many carbs in it, which is good, but it has a lot of fat. It's very, very high in fat. So I'll suck down a bottle of, a small bottle of whipped cream before I even get out there on an extensive, strenuous hike, because it gives you a lot of energy. All that fat gives you a lot of energy. And then, you want to have some carbs as well, too. I'll eat a little bit of bread, and I'll just kind of, I'll carb up and I'll calorie up a little bit before a hike. If you don't, eat a good amount of calories, like I'll typically eat about 700 to 1,000 calories, maybe 800 calories or so before an 8+ mile hike, because if not, you're not going to be able to make it. And trust me, you will be burning, 3 times the amount of calories that you eat the day of the hike. And for the next 2 days after that, your body will be in, super, fat burning mode, and you'll burn at least another 1,000 or 2 calories. So you got to eat before you go on those hikes. So when you mentioned Cool Whip, yeah, I love whipped cream. You reminded me of, what I like to eat before I go hiking. Buttnuts World says, I missed Safeway Arts closed when I was 22. Are there Safeways in your state, like in other areas, just not one near your very rural area of where you live, Mutt? Let me know about that when you get a chance. So anyway, let me start off by discussing, to me, what accepting reality means, and what happens when you don't accept reality and you live in a fantasy world, or when you know that you're absolutely wrong, but you can't admit that you're wrong. How does that make you come off to, your friends, family, coworkers, other peers? I've mentioned this story in the past, long time ago. I used to talk about this more on my former channel I used to run, and maybe a little bit, over a year ago on this channel. So I haven't talked about it in a while. But when I was younger, I had a difficult time admitting when I was wrong. I had a difficult time accepting reality. There were times where I would try to, I always try to do everything perfect. I've always been a perfectionist in my life. And whenever I felt like, I did something wrong and my friends would notice it, I would always try to make an excuse to try to cover it up. And then what my friends would do is they would call me out, and I would argue them, and I would tell them, no, dude, you're wrong, dude. I mean, seriously, dude, you're so wrong, man. I don't want to argue on this, dude. It's no big deal, right? The truth of the matter is, I was projecting my insecurities. I was insecure within myself when I was younger regarding anything that I perceived that I did wrong. I just could not admit failure because I felt I was above failure. I felt like if, my friends or my family saw me fail, it would just make me look bad and they would frown upon me for it. The truth of the matter is the opposite is more so the truth. It's not about making mistakes. You're allowed to make mistakes. You're going to make mistakes. It's about when you make those mistakes, you learn from them, you accept them, and you own up to them. And then you go to your friends and your family and you say, I messed up, man. Or if you're dating someone, I messed up, babe. I'm a human being. Forgive me. I messed up, mom. I messed up, dad. I messed up, brother, sister, aunt, uncle, whatever, right? Own up to it. Because if you don't own up to it, not only is that going to set you back from accomplishing whatever you want to accomplish because you're going to be living in a world that's not realistic, your friends and your family already know you made a mistake, and they're going to continue to get on you to try to get you to admit that mistake. And it's just going to be this vicious cycle of them saying, come on, man, you messed up. It's okay. Just admit you were wrong. And then you say, no, I didn't make any mistakes. I don't make mistakes. I strive for perfection, right? So rather than going, back and forth in that vicious cycle, eventually, as I got into my mid-20s, especially when I got close to my late 20s, early 30s, I started to realize that owning up to your mistakes is actually something that is appreciated and very much respected by your friends, family, and other peers. Because everybody knows that everyone makes mistakes. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. And it's human to make mistakes. And if you're a human that never has made a mistake, then you're not human, right? People want to see that you're human and that you make mistakes, but then that you learn from those mistakes and you try to not make the same mistakes twice. And if you make the same mistake twice, you're like, oh, I screwed up again. Okay, I screwed up twice on the same thing. Now going into this the third time, I'm going to, think about, what I do regarding this same situation before I make the same mistake a third time. Because if you make the same mistake a third time and a fourth time and a fifth time, that's when you're going to really start to look a little bit stupid. I don't want to be rude, but that's just the truth. You want to learn from your mistakes, you want to own them, and you want to move forward. So let's see. Mutton Nuts World says, used to be only ones are now all up near DC. Oh, okay. Okay, cool. Yeah, I love Safeway. We have them all over California, especially Northern California. There's a Safeway pretty much everywhere I go. And Safeway is my pit stop before going hiking. So, sorry to hear that your Safeway closed a long time ago, Mutt. What other supermarkets do you have in your area? Just curious to know. Anything comparable? All right. So the next thing I want to talk about are people that don't love themselves and not only project their insecurities to anyone they perceive is better than them. These people can never concede or accept defeat, even if they know they are clearly wrong. I took some notes here, and let me read that one more time. I'm going to talk about people that don't love themselves, people that are in a bad spot. Maybe something happened to them. They haven't worked through it yet. Maybe they're in a marriage that they are unhappy. Then they have kids, and they're staying together, because of the kids, which is not the right thing to do, but many people do that. So they're very, very unhappy. Maybe they didn't have the best upbringing. Maybe they didn't have the best education, And then when these people look at other people that have had a decent upbringing, have had a good education, and have grown up with a lot of nurturing love, they start to project their insecurities onto people that they perceive are better than them. I mean, it's the only logical thing that makes sense. Now, if you try to explain this to people that are like this, it's only going to annoy them more, and they're going to attack you more. So when you're coming across people like this in your life, whether it's YouTube, whether it's in your real life or wherever, right? The moment you realize that they're that insecure and they start projecting their insecurities onto you because they perceive you to be better than them. Well, that's the reason why they're doing it, because they perceive you to be better than them. The best thing to do is say, hey, I think I need to leave you alone, to work things out, within yourself, have yourself a great day. And that's the best thing to do. It's just to walk away from these people, because there's nothing you can say or do that's going to make them feel better, because they already perceive you to be better than them, and they can't admit that. And until they get themselves to your level somehow, they're going to be projecting onto you. So until these people, work through that and start to love themselves more and snap out of it and stop projecting, it's not even worth associating with people like this. So again, I'm going to talk about people that don't love themselves and not only project their insecurities to anyone they perceive as better than them. These people can never concede or accept defeat, even if they know they are clearly wrong. Another example is Donald Trump. President Donald Trump still has not conceded the election. And now, we are looking at what was it? November 3rd? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 days later. Now, to be fair, the election was called on Saturday the 7th. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days later, and President Donald Trump has not conceded the election. Because he just doesn't want to accept reality. He is one of those people that, I have to be honest, the way he's behaving, he's a very insecure man. He's the kind of man that has to always get his way. And when things don't go his way, he cries and whines like a little baby. He does exactly what I used to do when I was in my teens and my early to mid 20s, like I mentioned a little bit ago. But now, again, like I said, by the time I got to my late 20s, early 30s, I snapped out of it. I started owning up to my mistakes. I started realizing that I'm human. And if I try to cover up my mistakes, it's going to make me look really, really bad. And it's going to make me look like I'm a little baby when I'm a grown-ass man, right? So that's exactly, the way that Donald Trump is behaving right now. And again, what can you do to help people like this? There's really not much you can do. They have to come to terms with this on their own. I'll give you an example. Between my former channel I used to run out here on YouTube and this channel I run now, I've tried many times to help these types of people. I've legitimately tried to help them by motivating them, by trying to uplift them, by asking them, hey, what's really going on? What is making you feel this way? What is making you react the way you're reacting? What is making you attack people for no reason? There are a lot of people, especially out here on YouTube, that come on this platform and use it as a way to, just get things off their chest and to attack innocent people, other YouTubers that they hardly even know, because it makes themselves feel better. Like they'll create memes on these people, and they've done it to me too. I'm over it. I don't pay attention to it anymore. But the sad thing is why are these people, these grown-ass people, doing it? Why are they doing it? The bottom line is they haven't accepted reality yet. There's something within their life that they're not happy about. Like I said earlier, maybe they're unhappily married and they have kids and they're staying together with the kids. Maybe they had a bad upbringing. Who knows? Maybe they just lost their job. Who knows? But again, there's nothing you can do to help these people until they own it and accept it themselves. At that point, they can reach out to you, like for me, a coach, for example, and I can help uplift them at that point and get them back on track. But again, if you try to help people like this, all you're doing is feeding more into what they want from you. They're trying to kick you down to uplift themselves and make themselves feel better because they're projecting onto you, again, because of the fact that they see you as better than them. There's no other reason, folks, someone is going to attack another person unless they perceive that person to be better than them. Okay? If someone was equal to someone else, or someone was perceived themselves to be better, they would never try to kick anyone down. It's only the people that are down at the bottom, they're feeling so low that when they see anyone that's even a step ahead of them, they got to try to kick them down again, just so they can attempt to make themselves feel better. So that is that. Now, Muttnuts World says, Food Lion right down the street from my house, about 15-minute walk. Wow, you don't have anything nearby, do you, Mutt? You really have nothing close by at all, huh? You're really out there in the boondocks, huh? Very, very rural area. Well, folks, I'll tell you what I'm going to do before I get to this blog. Even though the show's only been going for 25 minutes, I'm going to do what I did yesterday. I'm going to take a quick 5 to 7 or 8 minute break so I can rest my voice for a few and use the restroom. I have not eaten dinner yet, and I've been drinking lots of Kirkland Colombian Supremo coffee, my favorite, as I've had a lot to do today. I didn't go hiking this weekend because my activity partner is not available. So I just got a lot done around my place and had a lot of YouTube things to work on. And I've been still figuring some things out on my new iPhone 12 Pro Max. Great freaking phone. I got to tell you, amazing phone. Gosh, I can multitask so much faster on this phone. It's just incredible. The iPhone 6 Plus I had for almost 5 years, which ran great for almost 5 years, same battery. It would freeze every now and then, and it would just, typing out text messages and stuff like that was really slow. This iPhone, you literally touch the app and it's boom. It has 6 gigs of RAM and 512 gigs of storage memory. That's 6 gigs of random access memory, I'll tell you. It's way better than the 1 gig of random access memory the iPhone 6 Plus had. So, Muttnuts World says, no small town Walmart is 25 minutes drive away from me. So you're in the boondocks. That's all good, Mutt. One of these days I'm going to tour the country. I'm going to do live streams while I tour the country. And then I'm going to visit you and Queen and some of the other moderators back on the East Coast. When I do it, it's going to be during the summer over the next few years. But yeah, you're going to have to show me around town when I come out there. Is that a deal, Mutt? Is that a deal? All right, let me just cue up some music here real quick. Give me just a second. Give me just a second here. Do. Just a second. All right, what do I want to play for you folks today from the wonderful YouTube audio library? Okay. Let me see. I've almost got it. All right. Music's all queued up. All right, folks, I'm going to step away for another 5 to 7 or 8 minute break. When we return, I'll be going over the blog, Accepting a Reality That Feels Unacceptable, and it's a pretty good one, folks. I've read it a couple times, and I've got my own spin to put on it and, to add to it. So stick around. We'll be right back. Look at that beautiful moon there. This is the road to success at night. Because the road to success doesn't end when the sun goes down. The road to success happens 24/7, Mutt. You understand that, right? Look at that beautiful moon, right? I'm going to grab that moon and hold it in my hands and feel real good, right? Mutt will say, welcome back. Oh, there she is. Welcome back. Oh, yeah! Woo! Woo! Feel it. 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 I know many of you out there are not feeling good about yourselves. I want to help you change that. Even if you don't like me, I still wish the best upon you, and I want you to feel good. I know even the people right now that are watching this that don't like me are feeling good. They're feeling good. Come on, feel good with me. Feel good, feel good. You feel good, Mutt? Are you feeling better? Come on. Tell me these shows uplift you, Mutt. They uplift you, right? Yeah, come on. Whip, 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 whip. All right. All right. All right. We got to simmer down, simmer down, simmer down, coach. Simmer down, coach. Simmer down, coach. You got a show to run. You got a show to run, coach. Coach, you're not allowed to have a lack of professionalism. Well, on second thought, coach, you're a human being and you make mistakes as well, right? And you own your mistakes, right? Woo! Woo! All right. Welcome back to Navigating the Modern World with Coach Eli, live here on YouTube. I just love YouTube, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Even when the algorithm's not in your favor, you got to keep moving forward. That's the name of the game. That is the name of the game. I'm going to mention something about that in just a second here to follow up a little bit on yesterday's show, because I did hear some feedback. And I want to make it very clear to those out there that are not understanding what's really going on. But before we get to that, tonight we're discussing accepting reality will significantly change your life. One more time. Accepting reality will significantly change your life. In the first part of the show, in case you missed it, I was talking about, my younger days where I couldn't accept reality, where I couldn't admit where I was wrong. So if you missed any parts of that, go back and check out the replay. Also, I was discussing about people that don't love themselves and not only project their insecurities to anyone that they perceive as better than them. These people can never concede or accept defeat or admit that they're wrong, even if they know they are clearly wrong. And if you're that kind of person, the only person you're really hurting is yourself. Even if you try to attack other people and project your insecurities onto them, we know that it's you just not feeling good about yourself. So the only person you're really hurting is yourself. So step back, clear your mind, and say, you know what? I'm a better person than that. And despite what I'm going through, I'm going to make the best out of everything. And I'm not going to attack other people solely on the fact that I'm just not where I wish I could be, or I wish I could be like the people I'm attacking. So if you missed any parts of the first part of the show, before I took a break, go back and check out the replay. You cannot scrub back now because I have the DVR function disabled, because I want people to watch the show live as it's happening. And if you're in the chat, I want you to engage instead of going back to the beginning while the rest of the show is live and you go back 25, 30 minutes. You're not going to be able to engage. So that's that. Now, as far as what I was going to say about yesterday's show regarding, the lack of YouTube views and what's really happening with YouTube, I'm not going to mention any names. I did see some people make some reaction videos to me. I'm not going to mention names, and I'm not, going to feed into, their BS, to be honest with you. But I did get quite a bit of feedback, and a lot of people were saying, oh, Eli, you're just whining and complaining. and they're saying, Eli, your content sucks. Well, if that's how you feel about my content, you're one or two people. It's not a big deal, and I'm not even catering my content to you. And you're one of those people, or a few of those people, that are just projecting your own insecurities onto me. And that's okay. That's okay. Maybe one day you'll snap out of it and, you'll be a better person than that. But the truth of the matter is, if you go and do a search and, watch some other bigger channels, go subscribe to a channel called The Quartering that has almost 1 million subscribers. The guy that runs that channel, his name is Jeremy, and I actually love his content. He's a great guy. He puts out about 4 or 5 or 6 videos a day, and he talks about trending topics. He shares the news regarding what's happening on and off of YouTube. He does some political topics as well. He just talks about anything and everything to do with the news. And he himself, was gaining about 1,000 subscribers for a good 2 or 3 months, up until about a month and a half ago, where he started losing subscribers, and he's not gaining any new subscribers. So, to the people out there that feel I was whining and complaining yesterday, you really have no idea what's going on. And, you don't follow YouTube as much or as closely as the real YouTubers, that really want to make it out here follow things. So, again, you're all entitled to your opinion, but the truth of the matter is, there are some things happening with the algorithm right now. YouTube and Google have been changing things up. Some of it probably has to do with when they had that system-wide outage, almost a week ago for about an hour. So, we'll have to wait and see what happens. But in the meantime, if you love YouTube and you love what you do, just keep on pushing forward, keep on creating content. And if you only get 5 or 10 or 15 people in your chats, or 2 or 3 people, or only get 5 or 10 views per video, that's 5 or 10 more than 0. Focus on those people and make those people super fans, and support them as well. Support is a two-way street. And when you have that two-way support, they're going to promote you to people you don't know that they know, and vice versa. On the flip side, you promote them to people you know that they don't know. And if you keep doing that lather, rinse, and repeat process, you're going to build a loyal following that's going to be there to support you and your channel and what you do, regardless of how the YouTube algorithm is behaving. But right now, if you're counting on the YouTube search and discovery feature and being recommended through YouTube to gain an audience, right now, that's really not working for most, if not all, independent YouTube channels out there. YouTube is currently, in my opinion, from what I've seen, and many others that are bigger YouTubers than me have seen, it is more catered towards the mainstream media. And I think a lot of it has to do with the election happening almost a couple weeks ago, and the aftermath of the election. And all of these major news networks are paying lots of money to Google and YouTube to push all of their stuff to the top of search. So even if, I do a similar topic that CNN or Fox News would do, when you search for that same topic, who do you think is going to be at the top? It's going to be Fox News and CNN. Where is my video going to be when you search for it? Probably at the bottom of page 1, page 2, or page 3, right? So that's what's going on. But again, you're all entitled to your opinions, and, do what you got to do. I'm going to keep on doing what I have to do. But I felt the need to talk about that because, I'm not whining and complaining. I wanted to make it very clear. I really enjoy what I do out here. And regardless, I'm going to keep moving forward. And I have other strategies and plans going into 2021 that's going to take this to the next level. And once this channel gets to the next level, we're going to really, truly start helping more and more people accomplish whatever it is that their hearts desire. All right. So with that being said, let's get over and do this blog. Let's go over to the browser source over here and get right to it, because it's Sunday night and I'd love to rest a little bit. All right. So the title of this blog is Accepting a Reality That Feels Unacceptable. One more time, accepting a reality that feels unacceptable. And this blog was written by Nancy Collier, LCSW, And she, I guess, runs a company called Inviting a Monkey to Tea. Whoa, boy. Inviting a monkey to tea. That's pretty interesting, Nancy. I'm going to have to check into you more after the show ends later tonight while I'm laying on my couch with my brand new iPhone 12 Pro Max. That's lightning fast and doesn't freeze. I love it. I can get so much more done on that phone. It's incredible. So let's get right to it. Why acceptance is the hardest and most important practice of them all. This was written on February 27th of 2019, so about a year and a half ago, still very, very new and relevant. All right, let me make sure everything's up there in alignment. Okay. Right now, there's something going on that's very difficult, something that we definitely don't want as part of our life, this pandemic. Now, the interesting thing was this was written last year at the beginning of February. I do not think that she's talking about the COVID-19 pandemic. I think that the blog author here was using the word pandemic in regards to the topic, which you see right here, accepting a reality that feels unacceptable. In my opinion, the reason why people do that once again is because they just don't want to admit that they're wrong. They feel if they admit that they were wrong amongst their peers or family, friends, coworkers, that they're going to look really bad and they're not going to be accepted. When the truth of the matter is, you'd be more accepted by admitting when you're wrong, apologizing, and moving forward. That's the proper thing to do. So that's what I feel that's what I feel this blog author means when she says this pandemic. Not the COVID-19. It had not even hit yet. So we don't want this to be our reality, and yet it is clear that all of our wishing it weren't so has done nothing to make it not true. As is always the case, fight with reality, reality wins. I'm going to repeat that one more time. Fight with reality, reality wins. Basically, my interpretation of this is that go out there and give everything your best shot. And if you make a mistake along the way, don't try to blame the mistake on someone else that you may be working with, or a family member, or a coworker, or whatever. Take ownership of that mistake yourself. And go to anyone else that may be involved regarding this mistake and say, hey, man, hey, girl, I messed up. I'm really sorry. I know I let the team down. But you know what? We still have time to do the right thing. Will you forgive me? And let's just move forward. And I think we can really turn this around and create something amazing. You see, if you stepped up to the plate like that, people are going to respect you a lot more because they're going to see that you're human. Now, I more so see men having issues admitting that they're wrong than women because, women are more emotional beings, and men, we have emotions, and trust me, we can show our emotions when we want to, but a lot of times we feel like, when we screw up, we really don't want to admit it because then we have to show emotions that we really don't want to show. But in those cases, those are the times to really show those emotions, even as a man, because it shows that you're human. And even women will respect you during those times. And they're not going to think you're a sissy or less of a man if every so often you shed some emotion. You're a human being. Every human being, male or female, has emotions. So that's my thought about that. You know what, Mutt? I did not check the chat after I came back from break, and I know you said a few things I may have missed. You said the Food Lion only grocery store. Then we also have a Dollar General, Family Dollar. I love Dollar General and Family Dollar. We don't have really any of those in the Bay Area. Typically, the Family Dollar or the Dollar General stores are in more rural areas where there's not a Safeway or a big Walmart, because they wouldn't do well there. They would lose. So they're typically in more rural areas, I'm not saying your area is a lower class area, Mutt. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying they're typically in more lower class to, lower middle class areas, and a lot of the middle class and upper class areas don't have those stores. But I love whenever I go out of town and there's a Dollar General or a what do you call it? Family Dollar. I always go there. They're the cheapest place, and they have the same stuff. So I wish they had them in the Bay Area, but they wouldn't survive here. They wouldn't survive here. They would lose out to the big box stores, and which are everywhere because I'm in such a big metropolitan urban area. So, okay, let's continue here. And so it occurred to me brilliantly that this might be an auspicious time to practice acceptance right now when we loathe this particular reality. Okay, well, accepting reality is part of, admitting your mistakes, learning from them, apologizing, and moving forward. And also that it might be a good time to better understand what it means when we say, usually too nonchalantly, just accept what is, be with it, don't fight it, and all other expressions we have for this very challenging and mysterious process. Here's how I feel about that. If there's something worth fighting for, if you have just cause, reasonable just cause to fight for something, I wouldn't say just accept it, be with it, and don't fight it. If you have just cause and it's a reasonable cause, then you gotta do what you gotta do to stand up for yourself and fight it, right? But in the example, once again, of current President Donald J. Trump, where he lost the election to get reelected about a week ago, he does not have just cause to do what he's doing. He's just unhappy that he got destroyed by Joe Biden and the liberals, the Democrats, and he just doesn't want to let go. That's just the kind of person he is. He's acting like a big baby, and it's making him look really bad, not only to the liberals, but to many of the conservatives in the same party. So Donald Trump's current situation right now, the way he's behaving, is an example of where he just needs to accept what happened, be with it, don't fight it, and move on. Hey, it is what it is. Be a good guy, Donald. Kind of like a baseball game, a little league baseball game. One team wins, one loses. What do you do at the end of the game? You go and you shake hands with the other team and you say, good game, good game, good game. Hey, good game, right? Even if you're the loser and you're not too happy about that. And maybe you might have a few friends from a local school that is near your area that and you lost to them and you feel terrible about it. Say, good game. Hey, dude, we'll get you next time, man. Don't be angry and bitter about it, okay? Be a good sport. And Donald Trump's not being a good sport. But if you have just cause to fight something, if something actually really happened where there was a tremendous amount of voter fraud, enough voter fraud that shifted the election in Biden's way, then I could see, Donald Trump doing what he's doing. But there's really no just cause for him to do what he's doing. When investigating an idea or practice, I like to start with what the thing is not. Okay, that's a good way to look at it, Doc. In this case, what are the myths and misconceptions about acceptance that get in the way of our being able to do it? Well, we're going to find out because we're going to go through the myths right now and we're going to dissect them. Let's do it. Myth number 1. We're okay with what's happening. We can agree with it. That's the person that just won't stand up for anything. They're just the kind of person that will agree just so they don't have any confrontation. And when you agree just to not have any confrontation, you're not being true to yourself or the other people or the cause itself, right? The biggest misunderstanding about acceptance is that it means we're okay with the thing we're accepting. That we've somehow gotten comfortable and on board with this situation we don't want. Just like the conservatives have gotten really comfortable about believing everything that comes out of Donald Trump's mouth and conforming to whatever Donald Trump says. Donald Trump could say, I want all my conservatives to move to Mexico with me because, the U.S. is not a good place to live anymore, right? And a bunch of them would probably do it, right? Now, that's an example, so don't fact check me on that. That's just an example of, the situation. These people have gotten comfortable, with Donald. And in many cases, like I said, some people just don't want any confrontation. And if you challenge someone that is non-confrontational, even though they may feel differently than what you're challenging them with, they may disagree with you just to not, have that back and forth, right? And it's up to you how you want to handle that, okay? It's up to you how you want to handle that. In my opinion, I think to a certain extent, you should share your opinion, at least initially, and say, you know what, I disagree with what you're saying. Well, why? I just disagree, It's like, this is why I think, but you want to know something? No big deal. I don't want to cause any problems. I see you're not happy that I disagree, and I'm just going to let you go, right? At that point, you say how you feel, and then, you turn and you walk away, and you just stop feeding into people like that. But just because you're encountering people like that doesn't mean you can't have a quick say. Just say, hey, you know what? I disagree respectfully. I'm sorry that we can't be friends. And you just walk away. Reality. Acceptance does not require that we're okay with what we're accepting. It's a good point. It does not imply that we now want what we don't want. It does not include feeling good or peaceful about what we're accepting. It does not mean we now agree with it. Again, what I feel the blog author is saying here is that, it doesn't mean that we feel the way that, we're coming off. It's just that we don't want any confrontation. We don't want to upset the person that, is coming at us with something that we disagree, because we can tell that, that person is a very strong-minded person. That person, may be going through a lot, and, you don't want to antagonize their emotions more than they're already antagonized because of what they're going through. That has nothing to do with you. So I can understand that to a certain extent. But again, it doesn't mean that you have to sit there and agree. You can just quickly say, hey, you know what? It kind of sounds like, you're going through something. I don't agree with what you're saying, but I respect your opinion. I just don't agree with what you're saying. But because I can tell you're not really in a good place right now, I'm going to let you go. But if things get better down the road and you're feeling better, give me a call and we can hang out again at that time, right? That's the right way to handle it. But I get what the blog author is saying there. Myth number 2. Let me check out the chat here real quick. I am still here listening and getting stuff ready for tomorrow. I have to go a few places. Okay, cool, Mutt. No problem. Myth number 2, acceptance means we stop trying to change it. We believe that accepting what is synonymous with agreeing to be passive, giving up on change, surrendering all efforts to make things different. Acceptance is saying we agree that this situation will go on forever. It's deciding to pull the covers over our head. Well, like I was saying just a few minutes ago, it goes back to this. If someone is coming at you with something and you disagree, and you know that if you challenge them because you disagree, you're going to upset them because they're already bothered by something else. Maybe they had a death in the family, or maybe they're in a bad relationship or marriage, or something else that has nothing to do with you or that topic that they're talking with you about. Something else, is affecting them emotionally, and you just don't want to upset them any more emotionally than they already are. So that's what this all boils down to. But again, it doesn't mean that you have to agree just to appease them, because if you agree just to appease somebody like that, that might even upset them more than they already are. So, like I said, again, the best thing to do is say, hey, look, understand where you're coming from. I don't agree at all with what you're saying, but I respect your opinion. And I can also tell that, maybe you're not in the best of moods. Maybe you're going through something right now, and I don't want to make that any worse for you. So I'm just going to, leave you alone. When things get better, give me a call and we can hang out more during that time or whatever, right? Reality. Acceptance does not mean suspending efforts to change what it is. It does not imply that we're giving up on reality, becoming different. True. Very true. Acceptance is all about now and has nothing to do with the future. That makes sense? A lot of people are seeking acceptance and they do whatever they think the other people, will accept them for it. And that doesn't make them themselves. So in those situations, if you pretend to be somebody that you're not, just to be accepted by a certain group of people, at some point when the real you starts coming out and they don't like the real you because they thought you were someone different, they're not going to like you, right? So why are you going to put yourself in that situation and, pretend to be someone that you're not just to be accepted by a group of people that aren't going to benefit you in the long run anyway? See, folks, you got to be proactive and think about that. You got to think about that. Furthermore, acceptance is not an act of passivity, but rather an act of wisdom, of agreeing to start our efforts from where we actually are and considering what actually is. Well, in certain situations, I feel you need to accept the situation. There are times where something is what it is. And if that's the case, for example, Joe Biden is our next president. That's a fact. It's over. And most of the other liberals, including the current president that didn't get reelected, that lost the election, he hasn't accepted that. That is something that needs to be accepted because it's a fact. It's over. But for something else, you don't always have to accept everything in every situation that you don't agree on. It just depends on the situation. You accept what is the obvious, right? And if there's something else that is not as obvious and you feel differently about because there's a reasonable, reason for you to feel different, then it's okay to challenge it. You challenge it when there's reason to challenge something. And when something is what it is, you accept it and you move on. Because if you don't, not only are you going to upset the other person and you're wasting their time, you're more importantly wasting your time. All right, let me see how much longer this blog is here. Oh, it's not that much longer. All right. Let me see here. Myth number 3, acceptance is failure. In our culture, acceptance is for the meek, for losers. It's what we do when we failed at doing everything else. We see acceptance as a choiceless choice, a disempowering and depressing end to a battle lost. I'll tell you this. The best example I can think of regarding this situation is the fact that I've been on this platform on YouTube for almost 4 years now as a creator. I've been on it longer through other channels in the past, but as an actual serious creator, I'm coming up on 4 years. And I've come across many people, the types of people that I mentioned, that are the types of people I mentioned earlier on in the stream, these people that just don't love themselves and they're not in a good place and they're projecting their insecurities. A lot of these people have severely attacked myself and my channel, my brand, my family in real life, etc. A brutal attack. And I worked through it and I moved past it. They wanted me to leave YouTube. They wanted me to do other harmful things to myself. They tried everything, a large group of people. Do you think I accepted that? No, I did not accept that. Because like myth number 3 says here on your screen, acceptance is failure in this situation. If I accepted what these people were doing to me and I left YouTube, I'd be a failure. And some of these people that are probably watching me live right now are saying I'm a failure. They've been saying I'm a failure all along, right? I'm still here and I'm still going. And in my eyes, I'm not a failure because I have not allowed any of you to get me out of here. I'm not going anywhere. So folks, in this situation, no matter how hard of a situation it is, so I'll tell you, anyone else that went through what I went through, most people would have been gone. But if you believe in something and you know you're good at something and you love doing something, especially when it involves truly helping people from the bottom of your heart, you don't let anyone get in the way of that. No matter how much they try to kick you down, no matter how much they threaten you if you don't leave. I'm a winner because I didn't accept what they were trying to do. I fought that, and that I won. And while they may think I've lost, it doesn't matter what they think. All that matters is how I feel, and I feel great about it. In case I didn't read that last line, we see acceptance as a choiceless choice, a disempowering and depressing end to a battle lost. I'm still fighting the battle because I believe in myself. In some cases, you got to fight the battle. In other cases, you got to accept reality. That it is what it is. There's nothing more. When there's nothing more you can do, you got to accept reality and move on. Just like Donald Trump, he's filing frivolous lawsuits right now when even if he, got a few of these lawsuits to go through and reversed a few hundred votes, he's still losing by thousands and tens of thousands of votes. He's losing the popular vote by almost 6 million at this point. He needs to accept it and move on. But in my case, I wasn't going to accept defeat from people that are trolls and haters that are projecting onto me because they wish they could be as happy and confident as I am. Reality acceptance is not an act of failure. It can, with the right understanding, be experienced as an act of courage. It is for those who have the strength to face the truth and stop denying it. It can be, in fact, a first step in a process of genuine success and movement. Like I said, I'll keep saying it over and over again. It sounds redundant, but according to the way the blog's going, I got to be redundant. Acceptance is not an act of failure in the situations where there's nothing more you can do. When there's nothing more you can do, you got to accept it and you got to move on. If there's something you can do or you were wrong and there's a way to fix the issue, to make your wrong, to correct, the way you were wrong and make it right, no problem. If there's nothing more you can do and you've exhausted all your options, kind of like what Donald Trump's done, you got to accept it. It wouldn't make Donald Trump look like a failure if he accepted the reality that he's not getting reelected, that it's over. He had a run. he made something happen unlike anyone else. And as much as I'm not a Trump supporter, he somehow got into office and ran this country for 4 years. He convinced people to vote for him 4 years ago. He's accomplished something that most other people will never accomplish. But that's not good enough for him. Anyway, so if not the myths, then what is this thing we call acceptance? What does it really mean to accept what is or stop fighting with reality? And is it ever really possible, really possible, to accept what is when we do so don't want what is? Let me read that again. And is it ever really possible, really possible to accept what is when we so don't want what is? Like I said, if it's something that we disagree on or we know is not right, we don't need to accept it. Okay? If there's a reasonable, opportunity to reverse the situation and make it right, we don't have to accept it. But if we try and we are not getting anywhere, at that point, it might be wise to say, okay, we gave it our best shot. We tried 3-4 times to rectify this situation. The other side's not budging. They're not accepting our offer or whatever it is, right? So we're just going to accept it. We're going to accept that they don't want to, deal with this or accept the offer, and we're going to move forward to something else, right? So we accept it when it makes sense to accept it, and we don't accept things when they're unacceptable. To begin with, I want to throw out the word acceptance because it carries so much misunderstandings with it. Rather than asking, can I accept this, I prefer, can I relax with this or can I be with this as it is? Right. So is it something that is a general broad-based thing that, you can just deal with and you're okay with it? Or if it's not, are you just going to accept it because you don't want to fight or put the energy that it would involve to change it or to make it better? Or can I agree that this is the way it is right now? In some cases, that may be the case. Have you heard of the phrase, it is what it is? I kept hearing that in my younger days, especially when I got into management in my 20s for the first time with upper management, when I was learning how politically biased the corporate world is and how much they favor people they know instead of people that are more qualified for the job. They'd rather hire people that are their friends that are less qualified and take care of them than the actual people that are more qualified and do a better job that aren't their friends. I had upper managers when I would talk with them about situations like that would say, you know what, Eli, it is what it is. And they didn't want to elaborate any further. You know why they didn't want to elaborate any further? Because if they opened up their mouth and talked smack about the higher managers and it got back to them, then they would get fired. Unfortunately, when you're working for someone else, especially a corporation, a lot of times you have to accept certain things, whether you like it or not, or you're not going to have a job. And that's why I'm self-employed, because I got tired of that crap. But at the end of the day, it's up to you what you want to accept and don't want to accept. But if you're, not going to accept something, there should be a pretty good reason for it. It should be very reasonable. Unlike Donald Trump, who doesn't want to accept, once again, that he's lost the election. Let's see. These pointers feel more workable given that we never associate with acceptance, because the fact is something inside us will never fully accept or get okay with what we don't want. And that part of us needs to be included in this process too. If I'm not 100% okay with something, I will not accept it. If there's an option, if there is a viable and reasonable option to change something, I'm not going to just accept it and let it go. But if there's nothing you can do about it, again, for example, like I mentioned a second ago, when you're working for someone else or in the corporate world, they're paying your paycheck. They can fire you at any time for any reason. So in those situations, many times you have to accept things that are, pardon my French, BS, or you're not going to have a job. But if you have that option and it's not going to affect you, and there's, a reasonable, it's a reasonable situation that you can change, then I say don't accept it and fight it. It's about what makes sense. Okay, let me scroll up here and then I'm going to check out the chat for a second here. Okay, we're still good. All right. To relax with what is means that we also, I think they made a typo there. To relax with what is, with what is means that we also relax with the part of ourselves that's screaming no to the situation. It means that we make space for the not wanting in us. So we accept the situation and also the fierce rejection of it at the same time. We don't ask ourselves to get rid of the resistance. That resistance is our friend. It is there to protect us from what we don't want. So we accept and allow the negative situation and also the hating of it. Well, I never accept the negative situation. In my opinion, if I encounter a negative situation, I'm not going to sit there and just agree to it and accept it. What I will do is say, first I will say, hey, I really don't appreciate, your negativity, your poor attitude. You're a grown-ass person and you're behaving like a 2-year-old. But hey, if that's how you feel, no problem. I'm just going to walk away and you do your thing. Okay? And then you just walk away. The problem is, when you give these people a little piece of your mind, it makes them more angry and then they start attacking you and get more mad. And that's why a lot of these people just say, well, let me just accept it because, if I don't accept it, even though I feel differently, I'm going to get attacked, right? You have to decide for yourself, what the right thing is to do in that situation. But quite frankly, I've always been the kind of person that I stand up for what I believe in. And at least one time, if I disagree with somebody, I'm not just going to accept what they're saying just to appease them, to not make them mad. I will one time give them a response exactly how I feel, respectfully, and say, hey, I respectfully disagree with you. This is why. And if it doesn't work for you, we can't be friends. That's it. It's the bottom line. Okay, let me see here. I think that was that. Secondly, acceptance is about acknowledging that this particular situation is indeed happening. It is not saying that we like it, agree with it, or will stop trying to change it. It simply means that we're accepting that it is actually what's so. Well, it is what it is. I get what you're saying, blog author. I totally understand what you're saying there. So you're accepting the situation, of what's happening, but it doesn't mean that, you have to accept what that person is saying or trying to do to you or trying to get you involved in. You can be accepting to a certain extent if you disagree, but I would never completely accept something that I fully disagreed with and I knew the other person was being ridiculous and out of line. So that's my opinion regarding that. The primary element of acceptance is opening to reality as it is, not how we feel about it, just that it actually is this way. I get that. Again, the perfect example here is that realistically, Donald Trump lost the election, over a week ago. Not yesterday, Saturday, the Saturday before. He lost the election. And the conservatives just don't seem to want to accept it. They don't want to accept the reality of what's happening. They're that unhappy and they're that miserable within themselves. And this goes, the reason why, in my opinion, these conservatives are unhappy and won't accept it, even they know it's reality, is because they're so miserable within their own lives that most of the things they wanted to accomplish in life, they haven't accomplished. This is just another one of those things that's stacking up to things that they've lost at. So when you're dealing with people like that, when you're dealing with people that, are not in the best place financially, emotionally, mentally, etc., and they've lost more than one in life, this to them is just another loss. And even though they know the president has lost, they're trying to find every excuse to try to keep him in office, just so they can make themselves feel better that they didn't lose again. It's pathetic in my opinion, but that's just the way it is. These people don't even realize what they're doing because of the way they are. They don't realize it. And then what they do is they try to blame it on the other side, the liberals. No, you're not going to blame it on us. You only have yourself to blame for your behavior. Okay? If President Trump did as good of a job as you folks thought he did, then he would have won the election. The country has spoken. It's time to move forward. But that's another example regarding this topic. With the situation now going on, I'm practicing relaxing with the reality that I don't have an answer to this situation, and no one does. I am accepting that this pandemic is what it is. Is what is, or is what it is what I would say, but the blog author put is what is. And I want it to be different. Both are true. The practice of acceptance right now is about letting all of that be and still being able to breathe deeply. Again, I think what the blog author is trying to say is that there are certain things in life that are out of your control that you need to just accept, even if you disagree with those practices. For example, every city, state, and federally, there are laws. There are federal laws, there are local laws, there are state laws, right? And if you don't like the law, you have to accept it, because if you don't and you break the law, you're going to go to jail, right? Or get fined, or both, right? In that situation, you have no choice but to accept the situation. That would be a situation where learning to accept it and saying it is what it is makes sense. But if there's some flexibility and there's something that you feel differently that someone else is approaching you on, and you want to challenge it, or you want to respectfully give your opinion, no problem. If it's reasonable, you don't have to accept it. But if it's something that is out of your control, like the law, you have to accept that. And if you can't accept that, then honestly, there's something wrong with you. There are many things in life that are out of our control. And no matter how much even the good people don't like those things that are out of our control, such as the law, for example, in certain aspects, we've accepted it and we don't complain about it because it is what it is. But some people, I won't mention who those people are. I think you know who those people are. I've been talking about them a lot lately. They just won't accept anything. You get those people that just won't accept anything, and I call those people unreasonable. Because if someone's not able to accept anything, you can't get along with a person like that. They're unreasonable. I don't want to be anywhere near someone like that. There's no flexibility. With the situation now going on, I'm practicing relaxing. I read that with the reality that I don't have the answer to this situation. No one does. I'm accepting that this pandemic is what it is, and I want it to be different. Both are true. The practice of acceptance right now is about letting all of that be and still being able to breathe deeply. Okay, I just read that twice. All right, let's move forward here. I think we're almost done. Let me see how much more we have. We're almost done. Let me check out the chat real quick. All right. We're at an hour and 28 minutes right now. It just turned an hour 28. What's comical is that our refusal to accept what is involves a fight against what already is. What we're fighting against is already here. We refuse to allow what's already been allowed. Seen in this light, our refusal to accept reality has a kind of insanity to it. Yeah. I honestly feel that, some people can be insane when they're not able to accept certain things that they have no control over, just like the law, for example. If something's out of your control, you have to accept it. You don't have a choice. And if you can't accept it, then maybe you are insane. That's not what the blog author is saying, but I'm going to be a little bit more brutal than the blog author. I'm raw and real over here. I keep it real. When we practice acceptance, we're just saying one thing. Yes, this is happening. I think there's a little more to it than this is happening. We don't have to accept something that's happening, but okay. Let's continue and see what else is said. That's it. I feel a little differently about that, but that's okay. Let's go on. And paradoxically, that yes then frees us up to start changing the situation or changing ourselves in relation to it. Well, if it's a reasonable situation that, has opportunities for change, then go for it. If it's something like the law that you can't change, you got to accept it. That's it. Bottom line. Bottom line. As a good friend said, the situation will change or you will change, but change will happen. Well, it all depends how you show up in every situation, regardless of what it is and who you're dealing with. You got to learn how to handle situations in life. When you get older, around my age, by this point, you should have had enough encounters in life with all walks of life to expect certain things and know how to handle them when they come your way. And if something makes sense, if you feel different about something someone says and it makes sense to challenge it, then you challenge it, but challenge it respectfully. If it's something that, is set in stone and nothing you do will change it, then you accept it and move on. That's it. It's all you can do. We waste so much energy fighting with the fact that this situation is actually happening that we don't apply our most useful energy and intention to what we want or can do about it. That is true. Well, yeah, instead of doing something about it, especially for the people I was talking about earlier, the ones that are insecure and don't love themselves, instead of doing something about it to change their lives for the better, they project their insecurities on other people like me because they perceive us to be better than them. And that's not the case. I'm also not saying that, they're better than me, but I'm not saying that I'm better than them. But that's how they see us, right? Because they're that insecure in themselves. That has to do with a major insecurity. All right. We're stuck in an argument with the universe or whomever that this is not supposed to be happening. Well, certain things we wish wouldn't happen, but shit happens, right? All of which is energy down the drain. The fact is, it is this way, and acceptance allows us to at least begin doing whatever we need to do from where we are. Yeah, if you come into things with an open mind, okay, and you're reasonable, then you'll make the right decision on whether you should accept something or maybe fight it. But the other thing you don't want to do is accept everything especially from people that are trying to kick you down because they're insecure and they're projecting onto you just to make themselves feel better. That's what this article is missing. The added value I've brought to this article, I feel, without saying all that, is tremendous. And in case I didn't read that last line, I think I did, but I'll read it again. The fact is, it is this way, and acceptance allows us to at least to begin doing whatever we need to do from where we are. Absolutely. Acceptance of now is a profound and powerful step. It requires immense courage to be honest about where we are and the willingness to feel what's actually true, which can be excruciating. Sure, if you allow it to be, but is far more useful than denying what we already know or arguing that the truth shouldn't be the truth. The truth's the truth. Now we're talking. The truth is the truth. It is what it is. The truth shall always prevail. Again, when we go to the election that just happened, the truth of the matter is that Joe Biden was projected to be the next president 8 days ago. And there's more than enough evidence that when all the final votes are finally counted and the recounts are done, that there's no way that Donald Trump can come back. That's it. Where did I leave off at? Let me see here. Relaxing with what is puts an end to the futile and draining argument that this is not the way it's supposed to be. And most importantly, it allows us to get on with the business of living life on life's terms. Okay. All right. Yeah, you don't want to put your life on a hold because there's one thing that's bothering you because somebody, has a difference of opinion with you. And, you shouldn't also feel the need to accept that opinion, just to appease them, respectfully say how you feel and move on. It'll make you feel better and allow you to move forward with your life and still live your life. Now, don't keep going back and forth with someone like that. It's going to drive you crazy. It's going to put you in an endless drama loop that you don't want, but nothing wrong with standing up for yourself just one time. Hey, I disagree with what you're saying. I think it's quite rude, but hey, you know what? That's your opinion. I got mine. I'm not going to attack you even though you attacked me because I'm a better person. I'm going to say see you later and move on with my life. When we accept what is, which includes our guttural no to it, we give ourselves permission to join our life to experience the present moment as it is. We allow ourselves to stop fighting with reality, which is exhausting and useless. Sometimes it gets very exhausting to fight people, like especially the insecure people that project onto you, that project their views onto you because they're insecure. It's exhausting fighting these people. What's the best thing to do in that situation? One time, you tell them, hey, it's your opinion. I disagree. It's ridiculous, but hey, you're entitled to your opinion. I'm not going to attack you because you attacked me. I'm a better person and I'm just going to walk away. You walk away and you ignore these people. It gets very exhausting if you don't, and it's useless. It's a waste of time. It is counterintuitive, absolutely, and yet supremely wise when we're willing to say yes to this thing we don't want. Yes, this is the way it is, whether I want it or not. Some things are like that. Like I said, the law is the law. You can't change that. Something primal in us deeply relaxes. Yeah, when we have no other choice but to accept something, accepting it makes us relax because there's nothing more we can do about it. There are no other options. We can exhale. The hoax we've been conducting is up at last, if you allow it to be a hoax. The funny thing is we've always known what's true, and it is only us we've been trying to trick in our non-acceptance. That's true. We are our own worst enemies. Remember, I've said that before. I'll say it again. Everyone is their own worst enemy. Stop being your own worst enemy, and trust me, your life will start getting better. Okay, let's see here. To accept what is offers us permission to finally be authentic with ourselves. That's true. And being authentic is the best way to be. To fully be in our own company. True. If you're not authentic and real, with yourself, you're going to know that. It's not going to make you feel good. If you have to pretend to be something you're not to have acceptance, are those people really the right people that you're trying to gain acceptance from? Just think about that. When we can say, I accept that this is the way it is, even if I hate it and I don't know what to do about it, then we can at least be in the truth, which ultimately is the most empowering, brave, and self-loving place from which to create our life. I couldn't agree more. That is so awesome. Once again, this was written by Nancy Collier, LCSW. She's a psychotherapist, interfaith minister, and the author of the book, The Power of the Mindful Way to Stay Sane in a Virtual World. Folks, I will share this blog link. As a matter of fact, let me go ahead and just add it right now. This is the cool thing about the new studio. While the show is running, I can click on edit, the way YouTube's changed things, and I can add that link very quickly. I can put source, SOURCE, and then add the link and click on save. And if you go now and you refresh, your app, or if you're on your desktop and you go to the description, you'll see the source, blog article there. All right, let's go back to full screen here and start wrapping things up. We have nothing new in the chat. We are at 1 hour and 39, almost 1 hour and 40 minutes. All right, folks, I'm going to get on out of here. I really enjoyed doing this show tonight. It's the topic that I really love. I'm just going to say this. If you look behind me here, this is the road, and there's the moon. If you want to be successful at something, you got to keep pushing forward no matter how much resistance you're getting. I've received a lot of resistance from many people out here on YouTube, from my own family, my friends. I've received so much resistance about me even running this channel. Okay? Because, I've been through a lot through by the court of public opinion, which is what I'm trying to say. But I didn't accept that. I wasn't going to accept any of that, because I would be giving up on myself. The path to success, folks, keeps moving forward 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And again, that's why I have this road in the nighttime. Obviously, I'm doing this show at night, makes for a better background. But what I use this background for is to symbolize that the road to success continues even at night. Even when you're sleeping, the road to success continues. You got to have that on your mind. If you really want to accomplish something, you need to have it on your mind all the time. Now, don't let it consume other aspects of your life. If you're in a relationship or if you're married, you got to take care of your girlfriend, your boyfriend, or, your husband or wife. But if you really want to accomplish something in the back of your head, even when you're, hanging out with these people or other people, you got to be thinking, I can't wait to get back to work on Monday or Tuesday and keep my dream moving forward. But that's where it says, night all. We'll catch up later off to bed. Have to be up at 5 a.m. Eastern, which is 2 a.m. Pacific, to get ready for my day. All right, Mutt. All right, folks, with that being said, I want to thank you all for being here behind the scenes, and thank you to the one person that was chatting tonight, Mutt Nuts World, in the chat. Have yourselves a great night, and I will see you all next time. Take care. Bye. Bye.